Have you ever wondered how the world's wealthiest people actually manage their money? There's this idea that it's some kind of complex secret world. But the truth is, it usually boils down to a pretty simple, repeatable blueprint. So let's dive into that framework and see how you can start managing your money just like the top 1%. So first things first, who are we even talking about? Well, when you look at the world's richest people, a really clear pattern pops up. The vast majority aren't just people with huge salaries. Nope. As you can see, a massive 75% are entrepreneurs, and another 15% are investors. The common thread here isn't a massive paycheck, it's ownership. They own things that make more money for them, like businesses, assets, or even super valuable skills. And this leads us to the core secret, the fundamental shift in mindset you have to make. If you don't own something, you are what's owned. Let that sink in for a second. This is the key difference. See, the typical cycle for most people is earn money, spend money, which keeps you trapped waiting for the next paycheck. But the wealthy, they focus on earning to own. Okay, so how do you actually start owning things? Well, you follow a simple blueprint. It's called the 25, 15, 50, 10 rule. And what's great is that it's not about how much money you make, it's all about how you manage what you make. So let's break down exactly what each of these numbers means for you. All right, let's start with the first piece of the puzzle, 25% for growth. Think of this as the money you put to work. Its entire job, its only job, is to grow your wealth even when you're sleeping or on vacation. So what do you do with this 25%? Well, you buy growth assets. These are just things that are designed to go up in value over time. We're talking stocks, real estate, or even investing in a high-income skill for yourself. So instead of your money just disappearing on things that lose value, it's out there building a foundation of ownership for you. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have enough money to start doing that. But listen, time is your single greatest superpower here, way more than a pile of cash. Let's look at a quick story of two friends, Billy and Phil. Billy starts out young, investing just $200 a month at age 20. His buddy Phil waits till he's 30, but to catch up, he invests more, $300 a month. So by the time they both turn 60, Phil, who started later but invested more every month, has built up a really impressive nest egg. His total investment of $108,000 has ballooned to over $678,000. And that's fantastic, right? A great result. But then there's Billy, and his final number is just staggering. Even though he invested $12,000 less of his own money than Phil did, he ends up with over $1.2 million. That is nearly double. And the reason is so simple. He gave his money 10 extra years to do its thing. That, my friends, is the magic of compound growth. And getting started is way simpler than you might think. Seriously. Step 1, just pick your assets. A great place to start is with low-cost index funds, which basically give you a tiny piece of lots of different companies all at once. Step 2, set up a tax-advantaged account, like a Roth IRA or an ISA, which helps your money grow tax-free. And step 3, this is the most important one, automate it. Set up an automatic transfer for every payday so it happens without you even having to think about it. Okay, next up is the 15% for stability. If your growth fund is your offense, think of this as your financial defense. This is the money that keeps you in the game when life, decides to throw a curveball at you. And trust me, the importance of this fund cannot be overstated. Just picture this. You're 18, you need a car to get to your job, so you take out a loan. A few months later, bam, the engine blows. You've got no savings, no backup plan. A single unexpected event like that can completely torpedo your finances for a whole year. Your stability fund is what prevents that from happening. Now, where you keep this money is absolutely crucial. There are 3 non-negotiable rules. 1, it has to be easy to get to, like within 24 hours, no exceptions. 2, it has to be zero risk, so please don't put this money in the stock market. And 3, it should always be earning at least a little something in a high-yield savings account, just to help fight off inflation. All right, now for the biggest slice of the pie, 50% for essentials. This is for your core living expenses, your rent or mortgage, your food, utilities. The real trick here is to be honest about what an essential truly is, and to avoid that sneaky little trap called lifestyle creep, where your spending just automatically inflates every time you get a raise. And if you think that's not a big deal, get this. Over 60% of Americans who earn 6 figures a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. A high income means absolutely nothing if it all just flows out the door as fast as it comes in. It proves it's not about what you make, it's all about what you keep. This right here perfectly illustrates that classic trap of looking rich versus actually being rich. You've got one person with the designer clothes, the flashy watch, but an empty bank account. And then you have the other person who looks totally average, but is quietly, invisibly, building real, lasting wealth. Because true wealth is what you don't see. So how do you control this? Well, you build a simple system, a little mental checklist before any non-essential purchase. First question, is this an impulse purchase? If the answer is yes, just apply the 7-day rule. Wait a week. You will be shocked how often the urge to buy something just evaporates. Okay, so you've waited a week and you still want it. Cool. Time for question number 2. Are you buying this for the brand name or for the actual value? Try to think in terms of cost per use. I mean, a $60 pair of boots you'll wear 100 times is way better value than $200 designer sneakers you'll only wear twice. Chase quality that lasts, not logos that fade. And the final question, this is the big one. Will this purchase truly improve your life? This is what separates intentional, value-adding purchases from spending just because you're bored or trying to impress someone. It's about being intentional with your money, not just being cheap. And finally, we get to the last 10%. And this is the fun part. This is for guilt-free rewards. Now, this isn't a failure of the plan. In fact, it's a critical part of the plan. This is the money that makes the whole system sustainable because it prevents you from burning out and reminds you why you're being so disciplined in the first place. The key here is to spend this 10% on things that give you lasting value and happiness. We're talking about vacations that create memories you'll have for the rest of your life, hobbies that fuel your passions, experiences with friends and family, or thoughtful gifts for the people you love. These are really just investments in your own happiness. So there you have it. Those are the 4 pillars of your financial blueprint. Let's put it all together one last time. Here it is, the entire 25-15-50-10 rule, all laid out for you. 25% is for growth, to buy assets that go up in value. 15% is for stability, to build that crucial emergency fund. 50% is for your essentials, to cover your needs, not your ego. And that last 10%, that's your rewards fund, to spend guilt-free on what you truly love. This is your playbook for financial freedom. And that really brings us back to the core idea of all of this. Wealth isn't the fancy car or the designer clothes. It's the stuff you can't see. It's the investments quietly compounding in the background, the emergency fund giving you peace of mind, the debt disappearing. So I'll leave you with this question. What are you building that no one else can see?